Namaste everyone. Today the 52nd episode of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Today we are discussing about actually what is exactly the pranayama. Is it a pranayama is a breath or something else? And what are the types of pranayama? And also what are the steps that we need to follow while doing the pranayama? I'm going to burst lots of myths in around the pranayama. Make sure that you will watch the full episode. So here in this 50th sutra of second chapter of Patanjali Sutra, he says, Bahya Abhyantara Stambha Vrittir Desha Kala Sankhyabhih Paridrishtah Dirgha Sukshmah Tasmin Sati Shwasa Prashwasar Yogair Ghati Vichedah Pranayama. That means what is it exactly the pranayama? Prana ayama. With the help of the breath, we take the prana. Ayama. Ayama means here the distance or the length of the pranayama need to be increased. Shwasa prashwasa, either inside or outside. If a breath is retained for a longer time, that is considered as a pranayama. So why it is necessary? Yatha chale vate chale chittam. As long as there is a breath, there is a movement in the body, like inhalation and exhalation, chale chitte, the mind will be fluctuating. The moment the cessation of the prana, cessation of the breath happens, then the mind will be concentrated completely. Okay, that's why he says, Tasmin sati shwasa prashwasa gati. Gati means the movement. Movement of the inhalation or exhalation has to be retained. That is considered as pranayama. Pranayama is not a long, deep breathing. No, it is not that also. It is not even exactly the Nadi Shodhana. It is not exactly the Kapalabhati. Of course, the Kapalabhati, Nadi Shodhana, all these things are that we are using to do a pranayama. Pranayama means retaining the breath for a longer time. That is the actual meaning. So there are three types. Inhalation, Puraka, exhalation, Rechaka, and retaining the breath is called as Kumbhaka. In the Kumbhaka also, again, Antar Kumbhaka and Bahir Kumbhaka. When you do a Puraka, that means inhale, and when you hold that breath, that is becomes an Antar Kumbhaka. When you exhale, that is Rechaka, and after exhalation, you will give a gap, pause in the breath, that is considered as Bahir Kumbhaka. There is a very important sequence while teaching the pranayama. You can start with 6:8:6. That means 6 counts of inhalation, 8 counts of retention of a breath, and 6 counts of exhalation. We can start with this, but ultimately we need to go up to 20:80:40. If we reach this much, then you will be called as a best sadhaka. But don't start doing 20:80:40 on the first day itself. Start with 6:8:6. That means if you are doing 6 counts of inhalation, hold it for 8 counts and exhale it for 6 counts. That is 6:8:6. But slowly we need to improve up to 20:80:40 to get the entire benefit of pranayama, so that from pranayama we can go to the stage of pratyahara. That will help for ultimately the next steps of sadhana. There is also a fourth type of pranayama where he says Bahya Abhyantara Vishaya Akshepi. So here prana vayu, that the prana that we take, that is one vayu, and apana that we release from our body, that is apana vayu. When we can able to join this prana from upside and from the apana from downward in the Manipura chakra, that is considered as a fourth pranayama. When we combine this, the external samskaras will not reach to the internally, and the internal samskaras, the experiences will not be visible for the outside world. Okay, inside, the experiences which we are experiencing inside our body will retain in the body, and we will go more inward in our journey, and we will not be affected by the external experiences. That is a fourth pranayama. He explains in 51st sutra. Okay, so I hope you got the exact meaning of the pranayama, what is exactly, and the types of pranayama, and also how we need to start the inhalation and retaining the breath and the exhalation. Always it is better to start under a teacher. Don't try to do it on your own. It will be harmful than the beneficial. So always learn pranayama and all the other higher practices under the one guru.